look at me face to face. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This world is getting so cold. I wanna keep running like a soldier. Somebody must have touched my soul, 'cause there ain't no stopping till it's over. I wanna get up out my chair, 'cause everybody's getting so lazy. Don't want nobody touch my hair, 'cause a lot of sisters acting too crazy. And them not tough like this, rough like this, and them not nice like this. Some can't take it when you talk true sense. Rather hear the words that glorify nonsense. Yes, and I got my brains, and I'm pretty like my mama. I don't wanna pick your brains, I just want the microphone. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, viewers. Good morning. It is 7 a.m. and this is the Tobago Updates morning show coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Rhea Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to you, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad. Those of you in the Caribbean and those of you viewing us on the live, good morning, Julian.
Yes, Rhea.
I see some of you asking God this morning for energy, strength.
All true. Rhea, it was a long evening into the night.
So we're hearing.
Yes. Yesterday, that kind of full day in interview mode for all day. But then transitioning last night, you got to get in the recreation. It's important. Yes. And because we want to give you, the viewers, a sense of, how things have been. So I started on the live and then decided to venture out last night to the Heritage
Too much
Festival.
excitement, you needed to be in the midst of it.
There was so much excitement that I felt, you can't truly enjoy folk tales and superstitions by being at home and looking on. So I felt that I had to be there. And I want to say that, kudos and commendations to the entire team, out there working night after night. I saw my very good friend, Kimmy, Jasia, and the entire team out there. And I want to say kudos to y'all. And all, this is the entire team, Rhea, that is usually in the background making things happen. I saw there as well the chairman for the Festivals Commission, Secretary Zuricha Hackett out there in the mix. We even saw Assistant Secretary Sutika Orr, and the team out there really representing. And when we got there last night, I also had the opportunity, and let me shout out this morning as well, our former Chief Secretary, Mr. Kelvin Charles, former Chief Secretary, Mr. Kelvin Charles, out there in the mix as well. So the celebrations were quite good, Rhea. The turnout, excellent. And this for me is the second event that I'm heading out to. I would have been there for, in terms of the night football activities that took place, heading out on the night of the finals. And the turnout is exceptional. Talk about people coming out to support. Wow, excellent indeed. I have no disappointments at all from heading out. That's
right. Even though most of them in the studio this morning seem to have had a hangover. I heard Candace talking about the show last night, and I think the highlight for Candace, let me tell you, the highlight for Candace was the fact that the storyline was about this one guy who had these 3 different women. Although he reminds us of someone that we know, but we're not going to call it.
Not at all. Not going to call any names. Rhea, you're on your own there. You are on your own.
I'm sorry.
But certainly a good show. And then from there, you know, persons naturally head over. I ventured over for a bit. Not for too long, because I want to make sure that I'm here with you this morning, viewers. Over to Buku. Great Fete activities, the longest weekend continued last night over on. You know, I left some of the cameramen and so there having a time. One or two of which we can't see this morning, but that's all right. So viewers, we want to thank you so much as we prepare to head on over to news in 90 seconds.
All right, thank you, Julian and Ria. And here is your news in 90 seconds for Friday, 29 July, 2022. Carnival stakeholders want details for the calendar of events for Tobago's Carnival scheduled for October. According to an article in the Business Guardian, stakeholders complain that the only information they have so far are the dates for Carnival. Several bands already launched their costumes for the Carnival. However, bands said they need a schedule of events for effective planning. Trinidad stakeholders partnering with Tobago bands also complain that their people from Trinidad and abroad do not want to book flights until an event schedule is released because they do not want to miss out on events. And in some other news, while Bibomad boasted about receiving EPI accreditation for their data center, customers in Tobago received poor data services. The telecommunications provider experienced problems with its data transmission from Trinidad, causing customers in Tobago to experience slow and disrupted data services. Work is ongoing to have the problem rectified. Meanwhile, TSCT's EPI accreditation ranks the facility as the highest in the Caribbean. It means that TSCT's data center is among the most resilient in the region. And in for some national news, over 213 managers from the Water and Sewage Authority are expected to receive termination letters. Speaking at a press conference yesterday, Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez announced a cabinet decision to cut WASA's management by 50% as part of a restructuring exercise. More cuts are expected among staff. However, Minister Gonzalez did not say how many workers will be sent home. The minister promised a decision will not be taken until the union is consulted. But he explained that voluntary separation packages will be offered in the first instance. And that was your news in 90 seconds. It is back to you, Julian and Ria.
Thank you very much there, Candice, for news coming to us there in 90 seconds this morning. Ria, I must pause to highlight and to chat a bit about our sponsor this morning. Our sponsor, you see the shirt I'm wearing, and I went on and I said, yes, I'm looking, it's going to be the Friday before Emancipation, but I want a more kind of modern Emancipation look. Yes, and Rashad's men's store made it happen this morning. So shirt courtesy Rashad's men's store, and Rashad's is located at Mount Pleasant Main Road, and you can contact them at 631-1049. That's 631-1049.
All right, most definitely. And here, Sanctuary, we've also got Mateo's, and I just want to remind our viewers out there in the U.S. that Mateo's is going to be one of those vendors that is going to be out there for the Tobago Day celebrations coming up in Brooklyn later on in the month of August. So I'm putting them out there, so you've got to check them out. If you, you've been viewing the show, you've seen their work, and certainly really excellent handiwork coming out of Tobago. Yes. All right, so we've also got them. We've got To Her Perfection, Kiana Jones, and we've got House of Norma that we cannot forget, yes. And we still got Just My Size. Just My Size, and for all your Emancipation Day needs with regards to your clothing, head wraps, check out Just My Size.
And it's beautiful when we see persons having that level of commitment and excited about the head wraps and so on. Some struggle with them, but we appreciate the effort.
What are those? Help me
I see a number of divisions also have scheduled competitions taking place within the workspace today.
Okay.
In terms of you're coming out with your emancipation wear and the head wraps and so on. So we're looking forward to seeing what the outcome some of those will be as we continue to promote as we head on into our emancipation celebrations on Monday, August 1st, which makes today an even better day for you, Ria. Yeah, it's Friday.
And it's a long
Monday
weekend.
is a holiday.
It's a long weekend coming up.
All right, who do we have on the rundown this morning?
Well, just before we get into the run-out, we do have some birthdays.
Well, we're going to run on into our birthdays this morning, birthday celebrations. All right. And we begin with, this one certainly would have been sent in to us. It's that time once again. I'd like to send out birthday greetings to my Antigua niece, Miss Samara Roberts, who is 16 today. Sweet 16, Samara, from your mommy Paula, daddy Sean, sister Jador, brother Tazik, and
Zadik, I think that one,
Zadik,
yes. Thank you, Cassie.
And the family. All right. And we are so happy that you are celebrating this momentous occasion. Here in Tobago. Sweet 16 Samara, happy birthday going out to you.
Happy birthday. And this is my friend here, Lynette McKenzie, celebrating her birthday. Lynette, love going out to you this morning. Trust that you have a really great one. Excellent service out there at the New Testament Church of God in Scarborough.
All right. So we head on into the rundown for this morning. Who do we have on the lineup, Rhea?
Well, coming up this morning, on the program, we will be chatting with Pastor Clive Dutton, and this morning he's going to be chatting with us as it pertains to Trinidad and Tobago's youth. So he is an SDA pastor and human rights activist, and he's going to be chatting with us on history could repeat itself, and this is with regards the information that is out there with regards the attempted coup. You know, what history is being handed down, what are our young people saying, how do they feel about it, what do they really know about it, what caused it, etc.
All right, and then from there, folks, we head on over to a conversation with Billy Sterling Lewis, a psychologist and behavioral health specialist, and she'll be chatting with us about the impact at therapy store.
And to close us off this morning, we will be chatting with a very bright and upcoming, not even upcoming, she's already there. She ain't coming up again. And this is Garvey Sandy. She's going to be on the program with us this morning. And she's going to chat with us about her recent release, all right, which is a tribute to the late Sherwin Cunningham.
All right. At this point, viewers, we want to certainly remember we see in the mix with us this morning Godfrey Moore, Q.K. Melville, Cindy Taylor, Rhea Orr, Ascala George, Travis Moses, Lisa James. Morning to each and every one of you. Continuing to connect with us here on the Tobago Updates morning show each and every day. Thank you very much for those of you joining us via Gael, those joining us via M&E TV, those connecting with us via Smash Radio, and those listeners on Street 91.9 FM, and each and every one of you joining us online. This is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
A lot of pleasure, and if you want to test my style, you better have a whole lot of measure, cause I'm a rock back chick, never tag along the never look back chick, trendy, a little crazy, intelligently, singing rock back.
Come, there we go to Tobago, that paradise, Bombay, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world sings.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tattle will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tattle, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back. It's 7:14 a.m. and this is the Tobago Updates morning show coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. In this segment, viewers, we will be chatting with Pastor Clive Dutton, SDA pastor and human rights activist, and we're chatting about history could repeat itself. Pastor Clive Dutton, are you there with us?
Good morning. Yes, it's a privilege to be here.
Good morning, Pastor Clive Dutton.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, just go again there first. Make sure your mic is on mute.
Yeah, I believe so. It's on mute. Are you hearing me?
All right, great. I think I'm hearing you now.
Right.
All right, are you hearing us as well?
Clear and as crystal.
Excellent, excellent. How are you doing this morning?
Well, I have a long day ahead of me. When I'm finished this interview, I'm going to Tortuga. Then I go to Santa Cruz. Then I go to Digo.
So you got a full lineup in the mix. So this morning, we want to welcome you to the Tobago Updates morning show. And as we head on in, we're treating with that recent article where you spoke to the fact that history can repeat itself, giving a warning to Trinidad and Tobago's youth.
Well, I have said, and it's the latest mantra I'm on, that the criminal element and the gang element, they are recruiting young people at a frenetic pace in Trinidad. I can't speak with authority for Tobago, I leave that to you. But I go to schools on a regular basis. I'll give you two experiences. Now, experiences. Remember, when I was, I used to minister to a special group with the Love Until Foundation, based until, sponsored by the Love Until SDA Church, to schools. And I used to go to Mokorapo Senior Comprehensive. And the principal at that time told me, she said, Pastor, Abubakar was doing a tremendous job in recruiting the youth. But recently here, I have been involved in ministering to a family where you had a double murder in Moruga. I ministered to the family before there was the first shooting incident in March this year. I ministered to the young lady when she was in San Fernando General. The police blocked me from going to see her. That's another topic. The family moved her to a private hospital. I went there, I ministered to her, I counseled her, I prayed with her. And then about 9 days before the execution of the girl, the same girl I visited, and the husband, leaving an 8-year-old, one orphan, I went by the home and I prayed with her. And at 4:40, 9 days after, a unmasked gunman with an AR-15 weapon executed the lady who was shot in the month of March and left permanently paralyzed, and her husband. Now, I'm not sure if the son was there. Only God knows what would have happened to him. He's just 8 years old. So that what I am saying to you is that for graduation this year, I did a number of graduations. I am happy to do it. I went to a school and the principal told me the junior drug pusher from an adjacent secondary school was recruiting his students. Now that's very serious. And I mentioned in the Express where I went to another school and the teachers reported me that Form 1 to 3 using the marijuana and Forms 4 and 5 pushing. So Abu Bakr was an expert at recruiting young people, giving them in his own way a sense of purpose, taking care of their needs and involving them in other activities. And there are a lot of people, adults in my country who are doing that right now. I have the evidence. I can tell you what is taking place. And that's why I said history can repeat itself. And somebody told me yesterday, well, history is already repeating itself. because we have mini coups, what people call mini coups. If you watch a certain hotspots, you have 12 murders on a weekend. Sometimes you have 14 murders on a weekend. We are in a deep crisis, and the young people are very concerned about it. I just saw a young man, and I want to highlight him, who qualified to go St. Mary's from Beetham Gardens, and I want to highlight him this morning, and I say praise God for him. But we need many more like that. And we have to see mentoring and modeling, and I'm talking to the adults now, as our primary function as parents, as counselors, as pastors. We have to invest a lot more time and effort in our young people who are off the pathway, who do not know what it is to walk on the straight and narrow. And as I said early on, people might say it's an alarmist, but a lot of people are growing up in loveless and godless homes. And we have to change that situation,
No, Pastor Dutton, you have been known to be a no-nonsense type of individual. According to the local parlance, you don't put water in your mouth to say what you have to say. And I heard you speak to Abu Bakr, the influence that his actions would have on today's society. But did it start there, or was this was this evident before the Abu Bakr scenario?
Well, what Abu Bakr did was exploit the vulnerabilities of our society, and the collapse of institutions. William Butler Yeats, in his famous poem, Things Fall Apart, says, things fall apart, the center cannot hold. May anarchy and bloodshed awaits us. And I describe that situation right now, so that it was before he exploited the vulnerabilities. Somebody told me, and somebody in private security, that, and some police officers, that sometimes when they wanted to make a raid down there, there were informers, among the police who would tip him off. And so what the police managers had to do was go off on a fake journey and suddenly turn. All right? So that is how serious we are. And if you have a lawyer just reminded me that if we have institutions where people are Judases, and we have Judases, if you please, and you're going to have anarchy in a state. Have the collapse of institutions, people from within the institutions, security institutions, political institutions, undermining institutions, and the society remains unscathed. That is just not going to happen. And I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago, we have got to face the facts of where we are. And Tobago mustn't feel, too sheltered, because you have criminals who leave Trinidad, and go to Tobago. And Leela Ramdeen from the Catholic Social and Justice Commission talks a whole lot about a migratory criminal. One of the recent murders this week in Enterprise, if you listen to the news in Trinidad news very well, was from Jamaica. All right, so watch that. So you have a Caribbean melting pot when coming to the local mafia. So what we have in Trinidad and Tobago, to face the facts, we have the local mafia, we have the regional mafia, and we have the international mafia. It can happen again.
Pastor Clive Dutton, earlier this week, we observed the 32nd anniversary here of the July 27, 1990 coup, which is what we are speaking about. Just take us back a little bit to give us very quickly, where were you at that time when the news and the entire situation came upon this country?
I was the Friday night. I remember it was yesterday. One thing, God bless me with a phenomenal memory. I was out there in Tampuna Road, not too far from the airport, only to realize that one of the buildings not too far from there was storage for when the guns came in. So again, you have to look at immigration and customs there. I was out in the road. Hugo Murray is now deceased. He taught at Harmon. He was the principal of Harmon at one time. He was U director at one time. He served as my assistant U director for the conference. And he was telling me, boy, come home and stay by me, it's not too safe for you. I in the police station, minutes before the Muslim ran into the station and blasted MacLeod out of existence. Remember the sentry? He was blasted out of existence. So the Friday night I got home, when I got home, Abu Bakr was online. All right, he was in control, for a period of time. The Saturday morning, I covered the East-West corridor. I saw looting as I never saw it before. Fellas had appliances all on their shoulders. it was total. Some of the churches were functioning, and I told them, get out and get home. You know, you can have your worship services at home. So I was very much in the action on the East-West corridor for that weekend. And then on Sunday morning, I went to town.
How do we,
Yes.
or rather, I would want to ask, what should we do differently now? Where should the major resources go in terms of really trying to help to make the kind of change required to ensure we do not repeat history in this particular aspect?
I would say family life. That's number one. I made an appeal. I started my live program yesterday. I'll be live once a week on Facebook. But clearly, we have to invest in people. The human capital is the greatest resource of the country. That's number one. And then we have got to get creative. I believe there's a need for national service. We have too many young people who are hanging loose. And let me say a word about the gang warfare in the country between schools. That is part of the recruiting strategy of the local mafia. Gang warfare between schools. It is quite clear that some of our young people are already recruited and they're bringing in the gangs. One principal told me in a school, I mentioned it just now, that the junior drug dealer from an adjacent school about half a mile from his school was canvassing and recruiting young people. So I would say we have to invest in total reformation of the educational system. There are not two ways about that. And thirdly, invest in the that are making a difference. You know, groups like Serval, for example, MyLat, decentralized MyLat, make it a kind of district, community institution. Use the community centers that are idle for most of the time, except when Better Village comes around. And then the use of social media to create local programming that will relate to the challenges of the society. Definitely, that's where we have to go.
And I hear what you're saying, and I'm in total agreement here. You spoke about family life education, and restoring or returning to the Serval and the MyLad programs, etc. But should the government also take a heavier stance, a more stringent approach to this, or is it that there was that approach that didn't work, resulting in where we are today? What responsibility should the government have? What part should the government play in seeing that things turn around for our young people? Family life is, putting in the emphasis on family life, yes. Putting the emphasis in education, yes. But what part does the government play? What else can they do?
I think there needs to be significant reform in the intelligence gathering system of our country. There are too many youth who have just been led astray. And I don't see a significant effort to pull them back. Now you have those whose parents are still in control, haven't done well, and they're in some of the programs that I mentioned. But clearly, you have thousands of young people who are exposed to guns. Let me give you one experience, because I know you don't have Dottin alone on the program this morning. But let me give you an experience. I went with a police officer to a home where the 15-year-old has already been exposed to guns. And it's not too far from where I live, in Diego Martin, already exposed to guns. Now, that situation should not rest there. We're going to lose another 15-year-old if we are not careful to the criminal mafia. And Diego Martin is a hot spot. Let's not put any water in our mouth for that, as you said earlier on. Diego Martin is a hot spot. And the criminal element grabbed that young man, and his mother is a fourth stage cancer patient. She had him very late in life, and he double kicked the door to get inside and hit her straight. He could have killed his mother. The grandmother is there limping along. He has no respect for the grandmother. He tells me that how she was against him. So you see where we are going. So I am saying we also have to not only invest in, we have laws, and we have to implement those laws, fulfill the mandate of the laws when it comes to our young people. But if you have thousands of young people with guns, thousands of young people in gangs, thousands of young people who see the gang leader as their real father, and by the way, that is not a local phenomenon alone, Blankenhorn. Researchers like Blankenhorn have stated that the new definition of family is not biological, but it's sociological, those who care for you. And I want Trinidad and Tobago to take note of what that clinical psychologist of international acclaim is saying, that how young people, so the gang leader could be their father. In fact, I have met a lot of young people who respect the gang leader while they disrespect the parents. So that clearly I've got to deal with rogue police officers and rogue soldiers and rogue police and rogue politicians, all right, and sometimes some rogue pastors. We have got to deal with that element. And therefore, there are things that people can do, there are things that families can do, but there are things that the government are expected to do. And I see a kind of collapse among our institutions, and I'm not seeing a ready approach, a swift approach to these issues.
As we short on time for the interview, but just before we wrap, I like the fact that you touched on an area there for me. How do we get pastors and the church in itself to recognize that we can no longer wait in the church and wait at crusades hoping that people turn out and come, but we've got to find more ways to reach out to those persons in our communities and the various spaces and places, and even in those non-traditional areas. I used to have a pastor that said in my church, if you see me walking in the vicinity of a particular space, don't think the worst first, but think that are going to meet people who would not normally come to the church area. How do we get them to move in that kind of direction as the leaders and those with influence in our society?
Let me tell you something. We are in danger right now of losing what I call authentic ministerial focus. Authentic ministerial focus is not in the church. Authentic ministerial focus has to be in the dens, in the drug dens. And by the way, I could tell you, I am in the trenches. I am facing death almost every day. And I could tell you, the army of volunteers among pastors and clergy shrinking. Among everybody shrinking, to be frank with you. When I go into the hotspots, if I see 3, volunteers who are committed to this, you see a lot. So we have to have a national volunteer campaign. Is the church do that? In fact, I want to suggest that every church should be a lifestyle center, and every church should be a counseling center. We should have at least 3 days in the week where we invite young people to come and where we ourselves go. You see, we have more of the invitation within the church. We don't have more of the going out there. All right, I read a book, and I will close off with this, by Dick Jewett. The title of the book is World of Flame. He says, God has no problem loving the unlovely. He has problem finding people in the church to love the unlovely. Lord have mercy. Let me repeat that. God has no problem loving the unlovely. He has problems finding people in the church to love the unlovely. And that is where we have to go, and that is where we have to focus. By the way, in 2016, this fella made huge news, Ajamu Crosby in Beaton. All right? Huge news. He came first in the Cape exam in the region. You know what's happening now? He went to UE. He got a scholarship. He's 24 years old. He's a mechanical engineer. And you know what's going on right now? He has no job. All right? Since he graduated last year, he is unemployed. He just wrote his first book, but he's unemployed. And I am saying those are things we should watch and take notice of. The talented youth who on the right side we must make, and this way government has to come in a big way. Do your surveys and find out individuals who need significant employment, who need to be ministered to, who have shown that they have their focus in the right place. And pastors, let's get out there.
Right, excellent. A support and a call. And I am with you there all the way when we speak to the importance of that positive youth development.
I have to say amen. And the role for men. Pastor Dutton, thank you so much for being with us this morning. I wish we had some more time with you. Yeah? Always wish we could have some more time with Pastor Dutton.
Perhaps the next time he'll join us in studio.
Hopefully. He loves to come to Tobago. But Julian, the importance also of men rising up, our men waking up. We're losing a lot of our men, our husbands, the fathers, the brothers, our sons. We're losing too many of them. And because of that, there is not enough mentoring. There's not enough handing over, the transitioning of this is what we learned and passing it on to the next generation.
It's really critical in terms of recognizing that. And I was in a conversation just up to yesterday, and when you have a number of young men referring to their role model, not that anything is wrong with it, but you have to ask yourself the question. Their role model is their mother that they live with, or their auntie, and you can't hear them refer to, when you ask any father figures within the household, whether daddy, uncle, anyone at all, it becomes a cause for concern. Because no, it's a cause for concern.
The women who are raising their children on their own.
Not at all. It's not at all knocking, but it still says that there's a gap there. that ought to be filled. And you could say what you want. At the end of the day, yes, we can have situations of strong women being able to raise successful children, but that does not make it an excuse and acceptable that men can just be absent as a result of that. And I really want us, and I always make the call, let's not hesitate to call out our colleagues. And we don't have to wait for formal settings. When we're liming, when we're in church, when we're by the bar, we're after work, wherever it is, don't be afraid to call out our men folk, because it's important for us to take up that responsibility in terms of setting the right example.
Most definitely.
All right. And in our next segment, we're going to be chatting with the lady herself, Rhea. Billy Sterling Lewis. All right. Viewers, just before we prepare to head on into that segment, we want to thank you so much for your continued love and support. And we wish to remind you, this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Susalands, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Ex-Sales Power by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Show, never a dull moment on set with us. So we're chatting at this time with Billy Sterling Lewis, no stranger to Tobago updates. Nope. And she is a psychologist and behavioral health specialist. And this morning we are focused on Impact Therapy Store, which is one of her babies. She's going to chat with us on that this morning. Yeah. And we're going to be taking a look at some of the products and the services that she offers. Good morning and welcome to Billy.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Really good to have you back with us. Now, Billy, there's never a dull moment with you. We had you on in the past when you came to share with us on your book, which is
Living in Health.
Living in Health. That's right. We've got it on display as well this morning. We're also going to focus on some of the products and services that you offer at Impact Therapy Store. Now, let's backpedal a little bit here. When this started, what was that scenario, that situation in your life or happening within your surroundings that prompted you to go in the direction of this therapy store?
Well, good morning again to everybody listening and viewing. This really has been a childhood dream. Believe it or not, from the time I knew I wanted to be a psychologist, about 16 to 18, the next dream I had was to have a wellness center. I always wanted to have a wellness center, even before it was a big thing. So this is back in, the day. And so going into the field, working with a lot of clients, one thing I found is that many people like medication. And don't worry. You see, I tell people awareness is our first stage of healing.
Okay.
We love medication, and I'm talking about pharmacology. So we like, even though we are going through things, so what you can give me? And
what can I take for this?
What can I take?
Right.
And most times what you need is time and the right approaches. People don't want that. And as I got into more clients who were willing to try it, I realized there were not many things around in the therapeutic setting that people could tap into. So the genesis of this in terms of opening and extending the counseling practice is so that my clients and others who come in could have those products that help to build their biopsychosocial spiritual health. And so the therapy store is an extension of the psychotherapy that I do with the clients.
Okay, so it's not only about verbally expressing how you feel, what's happening in your surroundings, but also the space that is created. And I'm asking here, I'm not stating, I see you nodding your head.
Yes, because you're getting it right. You're getting it right.
I'm really asking here about creating that space within your environment, your bedroom, some part of your home to have a relaxing space, a relaxing spot?
A relaxing, a healing. Let me put it this way. We are tripartite by nature. We are mind, body, and spirit. I like to say that we are quad by relation. And I'm going to get to something with that. So in terms of relation and being four-part, we have to connect with God. We have to connect with the earth. We have to connect with ourselves. And we have to connect with other people. That's where healing takes place, and believe it or not, that's where illness takes place too. Right. Because when we have disconnection and it leads to dis-ease, we get disease. And when we are not in tune with who we are as an individual, as God made us divinely, then we have struggle and problems coming up. So what you want to do is create an environment in your mind, in your body, in your spirit, in your emotions, that will allow you to not only heal from an incident or a situation, but to live a life of health and wellness continually.
How does an individual, I'm talking men and women, how do they do that in the midst of living? Because as we wake up every morning, life is happening.
Yeah.
How do you fit this into life already happening? You've got work, you've got the stresses of work, family life. Everything is happening out there. But how do you find time within the 24 hours of life happening? Children to drop to school, after school programs, church activities. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But how do you fit it in?
I don't fit it in, I live it. There's no fitting in. If you're going to be fitting in health and wellness, you won't live well. Think about your life, your body. If you cut your fingernails now, except if it's acrylic, it will grow back.
Let's go.
And I have it. But I have my natural nails. If you cut your skin, once your body's working well, the oxygen and everything is going to heal.
Right.
So there's no fitting in all of these things in the schedule. What we have done is we have pushed out wellness by adding all these other things. Sometimes they're not even necessary. So we overburden our children sometimes with activities and don't teach them to live. We overburden our life with pursuits and never be. We never allow ourselves to be. We just acquire. So it is about every day cultivating the mindset that I am here for purpose, God divine, and I need a well vessel to be able to be who I need to be and do what I've been called to do. So I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ, and I know that his word is set.
Yes.
And
there's no questioning. No
question for me.
No,
I know people challenge. I don't have a problem with people challenging it at all.
I don't challenge.
But let me tell you something. The church is one of the most unhealthy places that you'll find on this earth, unfortunately.
Can I say ouch?
Yeah.
I need to ouch?
Yeah, because I've said it. I'm born in the church. I'm a pastor's kid. I'm a pastor's wife. We're the most dishonest. We're the most unhealthy. And we love prayer lines. We love deliverance services because we want people to come and say, what you have for me? Put your hands on me and touch me.
Because I want X, Y.
I want to receive
but
this.
We don't want to put in the work. We don't want to do what's necessary. Ouch.
And half of what God has given us for health and life and wellness is not deliverance or laying on of hands. It's word of knowledge. It's action.
Get up and
it's
do.
Words.
Yeah.
So we have to come to the place where we understand that every day I declare where I'm going. I declare who I am, and then I walk in that. So I love to tell my clients, sound is energy. Energy is life. Yeah. You want to go far back? How did God make the earth? He didn't go down and do nothing. He just spoke. And the only thing that he didn't speak into being,
he made it.
And that's why we're so special. That's why you can't look down on yourself. Because God didn't say, well, let you come forth as whatever your name is. He took time and he fashioned.
And he formed.
And he formed. So I like to tell my young people, that's why you must have attitude, because you're like that. He said, it was very good. So we have that same creative and recreative power through Christ, and everybody has their own belief. I don't challenge that. But understand that we must be representations of the life that God has given us and live in health and wellness. Mind, body, spirit, and relationship. Don't forget relationships.
No.
You know, many people have gone mad because their relationships went sour. And we laugh at the power. I'm a loner. You won't get very far. We often say if you want to go far, you have to go with somebody, right?
All right. No, I tell you, I could sit and chat with you all day, every day. But my director is saying here, Ria, we've got 5 minutes.
Oh.
I'm keeping to my 5 minutes, Mr. Director. So tell us about some of the products that we've got on display this morning.
Yes. So some of the products, and just so you know, I'm actually having a sale, pre-emancipation sale, because I do believe in emancipation, mentally, physically, historically as well.
Let's go.
So just to give the benefits, what I do in the store, the products we have, they're all on sale, and I also do consultations. So I do psychonutrition. Why? Because we have 3 brains, believe it or not. Our belly and our heart, including our emotional heart. People don't understand that. So sometimes they say, well, my brain not work too well. Sometimes the belly not working well because you're not eating well. If we don't fuel our body well, we limit our brain, our literal brain power. And so I do psychonutrition in the store. I do psychonutrition, and I do aromatherapy. I love aromatherapy. This is a big part of my life. Not so much a product, but this product is an excellent one. But this one is also edible. But aromatherapy has what we call essential oils have frequency. The body is built on frequency. And I was just preparing quickly, 30 seconds. I was thinking about back in the day, we had this program called Quantum Leap. I don't know if you remember that program.
Remember the name?
Christian people couldn't watch it because it was it was anti-Christ. And maybe some things were little things. But the truth is we are beings of energy and frequency in terms of charge. So your heart can stop working because it loses the charge, right? The body connects with the frequency. I want to share this quick before we end. So we have the essential oil that connects with the body on the cellular level and also aromatically, because the nose, believe it or not, this organ here is directly linked to the brain. The part of the brain that deals with memory and emotion as well. So when you are smelling something, it's not just, oh, this smells good, or oh, this smells bad. It's actually connecting with the brain that's doing a lot of other things in your life. And also, I do a lot of bibliotherapy because words actually have power, whether it's spoken, written, or read. And so sometimes you just have to get with the right material, whether you're reading or writing, and the power of journaling as well that we have forsaken. That is even biblical. Write it down, write it down. These things are there. So the products are the journals, the psychonutrition, the aromatherapy. There are other things in the store, but you have to come by and see. I do consultations, and I'll be able to direct you to the right product that works for you.
All right. Now, just tell us very quickly in terms of the products that we have on display. Tell us what do we have?
So, sorry, yes, what we have is this product is called Longevity. It comes from a gentleman, Dr. Wallach. He has been in the business for many years, a known nutritionist, and he has been able to study animal and human behavior and what it is needed in the body. So he has found that there's 90 minerals and vitamins that the body needs to be able to function well. And so these are well formulated. I use them myself. I recommend them, and they deal with every aspect of the body, mind, brain, and your gut and everything else. And like I said, the aromatherapy. This is particularly doTERRA. That is a pure therapeutic grade. I'm going to share something quickly before I end because I don't have to end. But like I said, this one is edible, not only used for aromatic purposes in terms of massage or topical in terms of massage or aromatic in terms of smelling, but also ingesting. So my peppermint oil, my frankincense oil, I would drop that in and drink that. Water, tea, juice. Oregano, powerful oil. This is one of my COVID oils. So my whole family had COVID. Everybody down to the 3-year-old, oregano in their tea, right? Because it actually helps. And I'll share, as you come, I can share the frequency understanding with it, with you.
All right.
But can I share this quickly, Rhea, before I go? I just want to share this. When it comes to the frequency in the body, I want us to understand that every part, I'm trying to find my diagram so you could see it, every part of the body is managed by frequencies, and the optimal frequency is 72 hertz. So we're operating at that. That's optimal level. After about 58, we begin to experience illness. So for instance, I know when I'm getting sick, and normally it's when I'm overworked, really stressed, or really emotionally drained, and I begin to catch a cold.
Right, that's how it works for me as well.
Right. You know the first thing I do when I realize that's happening, because I know there's nothing else going on? I go to bed at 10 o'clock for 3 days straight. I don't care what's going on. I shut everything down.
So hold up, 10 o'clock is your early hour?
Because the body heals between 10 and 4, 11 and 5. Sleeping is a healing process, you know. But I tend to push it because I have a lot of work to do. Right. I have 3 children. I have work.
And so, 3 young children.
Young children. But when I realize my body can't go any further, there's no more compromising. Now, I shouldn't stress it like that, but that's what happens. But here's the other thing. So a lot of things can happen when the frequency goes down, but here's the important thing. When we begin to think positive thoughts, our frequency increases by 10.
Immediately.
Hertz. Just by thinking positive thoughts. There's power in what we think. Now, you know that.
That's
long
right.
time.
That's right.
Right. But we just have to get the science. So I'm glad I'm trained in the science. So when I talk, they say, oh, she just like Bible. Yeah, I like Bible, but I love science. I'm a science girl. Right? I believe girls in science rock. And when we include prayer and meditation, declaration, it increases by 15 hertz. So when you're sitting down thinking, I can't stand shit all, them so sick, them wicked.
Go ahead, speak the truth and shame the devil.
Right, but what you're doing is speaking the truth and shaming the devil and destroying your body.
That's right.
Because that, I can't stand her, is coming from
your heart, from within you.
And that's pulling it down. That's why the Bible says, don't even curse your enemy. What is it to do?
Bless.
Bless them.
And out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So what is happening on the inside of your heart, your emotions, how you feel, and you speak it out there, you're putting it to your health.
And it increases your health.
The word coming to life with Billy Sterling. Go ahead.
So it makes much more sense health-wise, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, just to speak, live well with self and with others, and don't forget God and the earth. We have become so technologically savvy that we forget that our earth was our first technological whatever. Right now we talk about, I'm like that, put on a shoe. There's a whole psychological theory called grounding. A part of it.
Having your feet connect with the earth.
It's called barefoot.
Yes.
Just walk around, take off your shoe and walk around.
I know.
But we forgot these things because it connects. When you and I touch, our skin is our largest organ. That's why touch is so important.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why people shriveled up during COVID, because we couldn't touch. We couldn't connect. So it's just to help people get back to that place. I love to see people live healthy every day. And we don't get to escape life once we're living. My father likes to say, if you don't want stress, you're ever dead. I'm not going to say it like him, but we don't get to escape stress. The events in life come, but we get to decide what we do with them and live healthy, whole, and healed.
All right, now Billy, very quickly here, because I see persons even on the live asking about your location, and I see, thank you so much, Reverend Nevin Lewis. He is giving them addresses on the live. But for our viewers out there who are not connected to the live, where can they find you?
So the store and the counseling office is actually located at Unit 8 Highmore Center. That's opposite Cost Cutter. So that building where MIT is.
Yeah.
And the Adventist bookstore is below. I'm upstairs, middle unit. The store is there, and also if you come for in-person counseling and therapy, you will get, that's where you'll meet me.
All right, so Collis Hazel says, so true, Billy. Dr. Vern Allen says, I like her. She's so real and truthful. Thanks, sister.
Thank you.
Jillian Henry says, good morning. And yeah, Donna Mae Walcott says, people need to hear more of this. True talk, real talk. Thank you so much for being on the program with us this morning. So viewers, we're going to leave it there. You can find her there for the book, Living in Health. You can find her for some of the products, the services. But that journaling thing here, I think it's, you know,
Powerful.
we need to go, not go back, but go to. So for those of you who are not, like, you know, me, we need to go to
And
those
me
days.
sometimes.
Yeah. All right. So lots more coming up on the program this morning, viewers. So share the live, share the live, share the live.
The key to turning dreams into reality is action. Those words define the steps of Kenya Yaya Corner as her dreams of making it as a professional footballer became a reality. Having made it to the professional level, Corner returned to her home village, Speyside, recently to give back to her community. The talented Yaya, as she is fondly called, hosted her inaugural 7v7 football tournament for boys and girls under 17. And it was a success, according to Yaya. Corner also did not hesitate to thank fellow villager turned Chief Secretary of Tobago, the Honorable Fali Augustine, for his support of the tournament.
It all started for me at the age of 6, right here in this Speyside recreational ground. If you turn your head and you look over to the hills, that was where my grandmother lived, where I grew up. So every Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I will just leave home knowing that I have chores and go on the field and just kick rocks, bottles and sticks, because I didn't have a football then. And to grow into the footballer that I am today, I took it upon myself with some of my friends to come back and give back to the community of Speyside. The tournament on the whole ran smooth, everybody enjoyed themselves, I had positive feedback. Yeah, well, I would like to say thanks to Mr. Fali Augustine, because without him this tournament would have never been possible. And knowing that both of us is from Speyside and he came on board big time to help out with everything was really my heart.
Corner added that this tournament stemmed out of kids not having the opportunity to showcase their talents, and as such, she wanted them to know that their talents weren't going unnoticed. And out of this first tournament, opportunities will arise for talented youth from this island of Tobago.
As I see it, me growing up at the age of 6, I didn't have the necessities, and nowadays the youths don't really have as much. So me coming back to give back to them, to make them feel more appreciated and more loved, they're going to drive them to want to play the game more, to know that someone still cares. In the years to come will be much bigger and better, because teams outside will want to take part, because from this last tournament that I had there, a team from Canada will contact me because they want to take part in the next one, which is next year, same time. We'll have scouts there to scout the talent of the older boys.
Chief Secretary Fali Augustine was also on hand to show his support for the tournament and encourage the youth that there is a lot of benefit to gain through the sport of football.
This facility, I want to congratulate you all for a job well done. Came to Speyside, you played hard, perform well, and the benefit of this exercise is that I want you to understand that there is a lot of progress and growth in football.
Corner also used the opportunity to leave some words of advice for the youth.
I always say, sky has no limit, and once you believe in something, you go after it, you put your all in it, because there's a lot of people out there who will tell you that you're not good enough, and you have to say to yourself, I am good enough, and the opportunities is there, is for you to go out and take it.
The tournament was held at the Speyside Recreational Grounds in Speyside.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Viewers, welcome back. Garvey Sandy in full action. No more little girl Garvey. This is the grown-up woman Garvey Sandy, Calypsonian, no longer up and coming. She's there. She's there, definitely. Garvey Sandy, Calypsonian, on our program this morning, viewers, as we focus on a call to duty. This is her video launch, and it's a tribute to Sherwin Cunningham. Garvey, good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning, Auntie Ria. Good morning to the viewers.
Garvey, I want to get right into things. I know within the last year, we all took a hit. You and your mom, the cultural fraternity in Tobago / Trinidad, the Caribbean, took a hit by the passing of Sherwin Cunningham. And I know that you were working on things in the background. Nobody expected this. Certainly, we did not expect this. But unfortunately, he passed away. And you have wanted to do something. And I remember your mother messaging me and telling me, Garvey wants to do XYZ. How important is this video to you? Looking back now after months of not having Sherwin around, but knowing that you worked on this and you're able to bring it to fruition.
It's really important because I'm using this video to honor him. I'm actually releasing it on his birthday, which is July 31st, Sunday that's coming. And this is my gift to him. Although he may not be here to see it, I believe that it has some sort of symbolism in doing it that way, because he was so instrumental in me doing my first music video. He actually encouraged me, along with my mother, of course.
How old were you at that time?
How old I was?
When you did your first video?
This year. This is the first. Yeah, this is the first video.
You to do this.
Yeah,
right.
This is the first video, and he contacted the videographer. You know, we sat in meetings to come up with the concept and so forth. I even showed him my outfit that I planned to wear for the video, and he was like, "Yes, Garvey, this will look good. This will look good."
And is that what you did?
Yeah. So he was a part of everything. The only thing is that he did not see the final product, but he saw behind the scenes when we were shooting the video and all these things. But he just didn't get a chance to see the final product. So this is my tribute to him, and it's really dear to my heart.
Was he also instrumental in the song, the
Of
writing?
course,
He composed?
of course. He wrote the song.
Right.
After my first writer from the children competition stage, Mr. Henson, Tobago Prince, right, passed away. Sherwin took up the mantle, and he stayed with me until his passing.
All right. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the song itself and what it epitomizes. Give us an idea.
This song is about the empowerment of black people. It encourages black people to get up and reach your fullest potential, because Sherwin was very, very, very concerned and a very pro-Africanism sort of fella. So he wanted to encourage black people to reach their fullest potential in business, in art, in every single thing, because we have the ability. We are brilliant people, and you know, we find that sometimes we don't understand the power that we hold. So it's to encourage them to get up, get out there. We need to encourage our young persons. Get into business. Do something. Not let your potential waste. So this is my call to duty for you to pick up the mantle and do what you have to do.
Now, who are some of the other persons? And I see Leslie Ann Ellis on the live. Leslie Ann, good morning too. She says, loving this. Ski would be proud. Jamila Al says, I love this girl so much. Well done, honey. And it's the HUNNI with the heart in the middle of it, okay? Who are some of the other persons who would have worked along with you and supported this journey?
Okay, I must make special mention to Miss Kendra Murray and Miss Chevelle Williams. They are the dancers in the video. The drummers, Kyle.
And one of them, I understand, is the cousin who is the / hairdresser.
Yes, she's an actress. The drummers, Kyle Solomon, Elton Ford, Maurice. The actors, one of them is actually my aunt. Hi, Auntie Nadine. My cousin, Samara, and Monique, Anton, Kevon, you know, I just want to thank you all so much because they were actually waiting, you know, what's going on with the video, but we have been through so much for the past few months and I was just waiting for the right time, and I believe that now is the right time.
Now is the right time indeed, and this is a call to duty, which is a tribute to Sherwin Cunningham this morning. Gave, you know, Tobago is really proud of you. We've been watching you from, you know, since you were a little girl.
Singing from the tender age of 6.
Yes, she needed to remind us from the tender age of 6. So we knew you as the girl, then we knew you as the teenager, and now we have the awesome opportunity of knowing you as the woman, the Calypsonian, not just the daughter of Leslie Ann Ellis, because you are definitely holding your own, all right? But I want to say congratulations to you.
Thank you so much,
I know that the sky is the limit. We expect greater things coming out of you, and excellent foundation. So I want to say a big special good morning to your grandmother, and your great aunt, and the whole posse, and Junior. I know Leslie Ann would be saying, yes, Rhea.
Yeah, so she gave me the story.
I'm going to leave it, Leslie Ann. That's between us, girl. What's going on? All right? But your uncle, fine gentleman, fine gentleman.
And I just want to remind the viewers that tonight is the Heritage Calypso Monarch at the Shopper Complex, which starts at 8 p.m. There are 11 contestants, but my mother is competing, so especially come out to support my mother, Leslie Ann Ellis, the queen herself.
Definitely, definitely. So we want to say thank you so much for being with us this morning, Gavik.
And thank you for having me.
All the best to you again. Viewers, we're going to leave it there for today. We want to thank you for joining us. It is Friday, so we're not going to see you till next week. So happy Emancipation to you coming up on Monday. So lots of things happening over the weekend. You're going to remember all your Heritage 22 needs. Tobago updates, Tobago updates, Tobago updates. So as we go, we head on over to GMT with Candace and Leslie Ann, not Leslie Ann, Gave, Leslie Ann, you're in my mind. Gave, as we go, I just want you to say it in fine Tobago style, just like we asked Jessie Taylor yesterday to take us out. We're heading over to GMT. So say goodbye to our viewers in your fine Tobago local style.
Goodbye, viewers.
We're going to leave it there.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get into your news in 90 seconds. Carnival stakeholders want the details of the calendar of events for Tobago Carnival scheduled for October. According to an article in the Business Guardian, stakeholders complained that the only information they have so far is the dates for Carnival. Several bands already launched their costumes for the carnival. However, the bands said they need a schedule of events for effective planning. Trinidad stakeholders partnering with Tobago bands complained that their people from Trinidad and abroad do not want to book flights until an event schedule is released because they do not want to miss out on events. And in some other news, while B-Mobile boasted of receiving EPI accreditation for their data center, customers in Tobago experienced poor data services. The telecommunications provider experienced problems with its data transmission from Trinidad, causing customers in Tobago to experience slow and disrupted data services. Work is ongoing to have the problem permanently rectified. Meanwhile, TSCT's EPI accreditation ranks the facility as the highest in the Caribbean. It means that TSCT's data center is among the most resilient in the region. And in some national news, 213 managers in the Water and Sewage Authority are expected to receive termination letters. Speaking at a press conference yesterday, Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez announced a cabinet decision to cut WASA's management by 50% as part of a restructuring exercise. More cuts are expected among staff. However, Minister Gonzalez did not say how many workers will be sent home. WASA currently employs 5,000 persons. The minister promised a decision will not be taken until the union is consulted. But he explained voluntary separation packages will be offered in the first instance. All right, and now, of course, we are still in the heritage season and we are in the July-August vacation, and we are at a time now where tourism is supposed to be picking up and we are seeing increased visitors to the island. However, it's not been as good as, some of the hoteliers and those in the tourism industry would have hoped. Of course, anything is better than the last 2 years, but there are still some problems. And to talk to us about some of those problems this morning is the president of the Tobago Tobago Hotel and Tourism Association, Mr. Chris James, and he's on the line with us. So a special welcome to you this morning, Mr. James.
Good morning, Candice, and good morning, all your viewers and listeners. Can you hear me?
All right. So I'm not hearing you too well in my ears. I know that the viewers will be able to hear you. So hopefully the technical team can get that sorted out for me. But my first question for you is in regards to the concerns that that the Hotel Association has about the flights to Tobago, because we are still not at where we want to be in terms of flights, and because we do not have the flights, we do not have sufficient people coming to the island.
Yes, it is a problem, Candice. We have a number of hotels, properties complaining that they're not able to take bookings. What we've resulted to doing is only taking confirmed bookings in the rooms if they have confirmed seats. So we know that we're losing bookings every week. It's a challenge. It's been a challenge for many years, but this year's worse because we only now have 12 flights instead of the 20 we normally have. So we are losing business, and it's a substantial amount of business.
All right, Mr. James. Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about, have you been able to have those conversations with Caribbean Airlines and with the THA or the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of Finance to make sure that we can get those flights to Tobago?
Yes, we know that the Chief Secretary and the Secretary for Tourism is talking to Caribbean Airlines, and we've been in contact with them. But it's a nonsense, really, because when Trinidad visitors come here, the money for those visitors stays in the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. So there's always been this discussion. We've never known the full demand. There is never an understanding of what the full demand from Trinidad is. And of course now with the less flights, it's even worse. So we really need those additional flights, especially at this time and especially for the carnival. So it's in everybody's interest to make sure those flights come. The economy of Trinidad and Tobago will be better off if those Trinidad guests holiday in Tobago rather than go to other destinations. And the thing that we're constantly hearing from guests, they say it's easier to get flights out of Trinidad and Tobago than it is to Tobago from Trinidad.
And we were also hearing the concern that persons from Trinidad rather come on the plane, because we have the ferries available, we have some capacity, a greater capacity than before available on the ferry service. However, people are preferring to fly. Do you have any reasons, or do you know of why persons are preferring to fly?
It's just personal preference. We can't dictate to the visitors how they get here. Some people don't like travelling by water. The boats are pretty full anyway, and to have the option of the flight is somebody's preference. So, and of course, we living in Tobago, we have essential travel that we have to do speedily. So we need that essential route of getting to Trinidad. It really is difficult to explain why we have such limited flights on the air bridge. And you see, the demand is really pre 9 o'clock in the morning and after 5 o'clock in the evening. And that's where we need, because we're also missing out, as well as the Trinidad visitor, we're also missing out on the opportunity to get those international flights that go into Trinidad to come to Tobago with no delay, no overnight in Trinidad. So we have a lot of things to sort out, and we've been trying to sort this out for a long time. I think if people can understand the economics of it and the benefit to Trinidad and Tobago of those visitors paying taxes in Tobago, rather than go Barbados, Grenada or St. Lucia, wherever they want to go, I think there is an economic argument. No matter what the subsidy is, there's an economic argument for increased employment in Tobago and increased revenue, which ultimately sees its way through to the Ministry of Finance.
And could you tell me a little bit, what is the hotel occupancy at this point in time for the July-August vacation?
I don't have July, August. The last few months, we're averaging around 34%. 34%, which is still far too low, and we have plenty of capacity for now and for Carnival. So without those flights, those additional seats, we need more sailings on the ferry for these peak periods and, of course, weekends. So it's really incumbent on everybody to focus on how we can regenerate the industry in Tobago, create these jobs, create sustainable income, and keep things positive.
Are the events that are happening in Tobago right now, like Great Fete, and then we have the Great Race coming up, and all these other events, are they generating that kind of interest to fill these hotels? But of course, I know we have the situation where, because of flights, people are not as willing to come. They rather travel by the plane than boat, and if they're not able to get the flights, they're not coming. But is that interest there?
Yes, there's plenty of interest. Every day, hotels say, we can't accept your booking until you have a confirmed reservation, whether it's on the ferry or the plane. And we know there is a demand there. It's just that we're being stymied by the lack of flights, the lack of boats. At these peak times, there is interest. There's tremendous interest in heritage. There's going to be tremendous interest in Carnival. So yes, we cannot afford for the lack of flights, lack of ferry services to Tobago to actually stymie what we have. Because this is the best way and the cheapest way of getting visitors to Tobago. When we have to do international marketing or support of international flights, it's much more expensive. And most countries would think we're crazy not to maximize this benefit that we have, this big sister next door with 1.3 million people, most of which would like to come to these events. We know that from the phone calls receiving. But it's depressing. Yesterday I got a call, somebody had been trying for 2 weeks to come, and they said it's easy that they're going to go to Barbados. And it's just very frustrating for us, because we can't satisfy when they want to fly and when they want to come. And as I say, those taxes stay in the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. It makes no sense to me at all, Candice.
And then what about the international visitors? We saw that BA had to reduce their flights, so they're no longer doing 2 flights to Tobago, they're only doing 1. What's happening out there to make sure we have enough of people out in the UK and those areas to come on board those flights, to fill those flights and fill our rooms?
Well, the British Airways situation was not unique to Tobago. That was the whole region. There is a severe shortage of crew and pilots in Europe, and I believe in North America. So they had to cut flights because they do not have the crew. After the pandemic, when they'd sent people home, They haven't got the retention of staff they had before. Training and security checks takes a while. So BA, amongst other airlines in the world, that have had to reduce their flight schedules. And it's not even just the flights, it's baggage handlers in Heathrow and all of these things that are a problem. So yes, we will continue to go after international airlift, but it's a challenge. And of course, this time of the year is when we are slow with international visitors in the region. This is a slow time for international visitors in this region. Our peak periods is between December and May. So this is when we really need to get regional and domestic travel to Tobago. And this is something we really need to focus on, because Tobago could have year-round tourism with Big Sister next door. We could have year-round tourism in Tobago if we can sort out the air bridge.
Well, we certainly hope that those in authority, especially Caribbean Airlines, pay attention to what's happening in Tobago and make the necessary changes to allow people back to Tobago.
We certainly do, Candice, and we need all the help to lift ourselves out of the last 2 years. We have tremendous financial restraints, and all of this will help us get out if we get more flights.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much, Mr. James, for joining us this morning, virtually, of course. And viewers, don't go anywhere, because we'll be right back with more after the break.
Come, there we go to Tobago, that paradise, Bombay, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Princess Margaret say, come Tobago for holiday. Now the whole world say, come Tobago for holiday. Smile, every smile in Tobago, that paradise, Bombay, Robinson Crusoe. And it is said, it's the land of tomorrow. Ronald Reagan say, come Tobago for holiday. Now Bill Clinton say, come Tobago for holiday. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land. If you want a happy vacation, you can get it right here in my land.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago.
And welcome back to Good Morning Tobago, and continuing to speak to us all week. I think we should have him on just on like a regular. He's inducted into the staff of Tobago Updates. Mr. Jesse Taylor, Culture Officer 2 of the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. Good morning and welcome to you.
Pleasant good morning and happy emancipation in advance to all of Tobago and Trinidad, and those at the division as well, and Tobago Updates, of course.
And of course, and if you didn't notice from his husky voice, huskier than normal this morning,
yes, it is.
You've been having a grand time with the Tobago Heritage Festival this year.
Yes, it's our legacy, and I'm doing more than cherishing it. I'm using it to spread the word that it is ours, and we should be living it every day.
All right, so yesterday we had two events that were really big. Now we had the Miss Heritage Personality, Junior Miss Heritage Personality, where we had our young girls get involved. Now, I mean, and you were very, very much hands-on in that.
Yes.
And so I want you to just give me your perspective on how did that go?
It really worked well. it was sheer magic, a lot of creativity, a lot of innovation, because it was the culmination of the Junior Heritage Festival, where we had this one day of a lot of immersive activities, intellectual stuff. So we had beaded jewelry being done and being taught to the kids. We had the way they used to do fry fish and make bake and fry bake, what we call floats. We had sahina being made there and lorry and stuff. So we were teaching the children how to do stuff amongst things, but also how fudge was being made, the traditional fudge, coconut fudge, and but it was really a day of good activities. We had carnival arts, book jumping demonstration, and then we had the Little Miss Heritage personality, and that was awesome. 13 beautiful young ladies, challenge shoes, brown cotton, and other stuff that was local to create this stuff, and it was short of excellent. Really, 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 really nice to see the girls between 5 and 7 on stage, because really they are who will fall into the other pageants later on and find themselves in whatever they do and love.
And then what we're also noticing throughout this whole Tobago Heritage Festival is that these young people, more and more, we're seeing them in the various villages coming forth and just showing to the rest of Tobago and the world that creativity and innovation that they have within them.
Yes, and learning your heritage, that was very evident in what we saw when we went to the schools. There was this yearning, like a thirst. People just wanted to do more, and there was so much people ranging from Charlottesville all the way down to Crown Point that were part of yesterday's festivities. Children just keep coming. We had to take on more people and have more volunteers and people doing stuff. And then we were showing them to part of the exhibition which we had at the place there with our natural heritage, how they used to do tools, some of the instruments and ornaments that we had.
And then we're seeing some images here of the recycling and just using
that's plastic, and there's paper plates, and there's little Miss Mills from the Ebenezer School who eventually placed second. And it was such a wonderful, that's where we consider things trash, but we can use these stuff and recycle them and make art. And I guess that's where they are headed, and that's what we thought about and what we dream about when we say the children are the future.
And then last night we also had tales and superstitions, folk tales and superstitions out in Leca too. It's one of the highlights of the Tobago Heritage Festival.
As usual.
And it definitely was a highlight.
Yes, great. And that's why the preservation of our folk and our heritage and our ethnic things that we inherit is important, because we harness these things and we preserve them so that the other generations can enjoy them. And that's what we'll be doing. And that's why we'll be doing the same thing again for Emancipation on August 1st.
Right. And just before we get into the Emancipation Day and the plans for Emancipation Day, we also need to talk about the Monarch competition, the Council Monarch competition that's supposed to take place tonight. Now, I just want to give the viewers just an idea of what is expected, how is it supposed to go, and, just some of the thinking behind it.
Well, I'm not on the Monarch committee, but what I can say is that there are 10 Calypsonians who are scheduled to appear tonight. They would have gone through the regular auditions, and they were selected amongst other people who would have made the entry. So tonight they are expected to present one song that is reflection of our heritage, a reflection of our team, and that seems to bring in melody and in lyrics what the Tobago heritage space, or what we have tried to inculcate in the heritage. So tonight at Shaw Park, yes, you are invited, all of you are invited to join in the ticket, exactly, to see them battle against Caston Cupid, who was the last person crowned just before COVID. So it's going to be a good evening filled with entertainment. I saw them setting up yesterday. It's looking good, and as you know, under Mr. Kern Cowan, Shaw Park is the place to be tonight, where he's been providing us with a lot of ambience, beautiful space, beautiful, good parking, and entertainment galore presented to you under the Tobago Festival's limited umbrella.
And then the curtains are going to come down at the Tobago Heritage Festival on Monday.
Yes.
Well, but actually, before we get that, of course, I can't forget Mariah.
The
Almost
on-time
forgot
wedding.
Mariah.
Yeah.
But we cannot forget Mariah tomorrow.
Get ready with your brush back, learn your piece of reel, and I'm sure you will need a piece of jig. Get in there to get your speech on how it's done, what the duties are, the conditions in which you must get married, your virtuousness, and the strength of the man that have to epitomize that of a lion, and be there to support and dance to the sound of the fiddle and the drum.
And so we're going to have the street procession, and that will be from the church
Which
to
is
the
the
community
usual,
center for the cake and wine.
You well
and
know.
then down to the reception area. And are we going to have a stage production as well?
More than likely, I was thinking, more than likely culminate in what is the reception, and that would certainly form part of what the general expressions would be for 2022.
And that is set to kick off from what time?
I would think 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock in the evening.
Yes,
Right. So viewers, I mean,
11,
yes. Certainly
yeah,
come out to that. I mean, that's something that you don't want to miss. It's another favorite, especially for visitors that are on the island. It's something special about that Mariah Old Time Wedding and being a part of the brushback dance. You're moving from location to location. So just make sure you wear comfortable shoes.
Precisely.
Right? And then, of course, now, like I said, the curtain's coming down on Emancipation Day on Monday. And before we get into what's going to come, I want you to tell me a little bit about the history of the Tobago Heritage Festival and why it is that, you know, we have decided that every year that we would have the final be on Emancipation Day, and why that is so important to the Tobago Heritage Festival.
Because it's very important, because our forefathers have gone through many tortures, toils, and snares. But they traversed through the Middle Passage, and while they were cruel displacement of slavery, they brought with them a hope and a dream. Today we stand on those hopes and those dreams and those aspirations. But larger than that, those values that they taught us and the will to overcome, they have done that. And the proclamation of August 1st, where we are amongst one of the few nations and countries that really gives this day a national holiday, is very fitting to be able to celebrate the distance we have come. And I always refer to it as the long walk to freedom. So emancipation means for the average person the freedom of expression and from toil and other despair. It gives us hope. And even more this year, it fits right into what is our theme, the reigniting the flame, so that yes, we have COVID, and yes, we might have had flora, yes, we would have had slavery, but through it all, we are in a melting pot of who we have grown to be. Our identity is for the world to see and they know and appreciate. Well, the Tobago Heritage Festival, again, is the largest of its kind of this Western Hemisphere in the Caribbean, dare I say. So after we've done all the invocation, after we've done all the celebration, what other way to say that we have come this way? We are proud to be free in body and in spirit, emancipated beings. So we use this day as a day to celebrate all that, which is what I say, the melting pot of all that we have seen over the past 2 weeks. That's what emancipation is.
And it's also about that resilience of the people. Right. So what's the order of the day for Monday? What can people expect?
So Monday from 9:30, we hope to kick off at 10 o'clock. We gather at what is the Coliseum at Crown Point, which is almost oblique opposite the entrance Pigeon Point. And we do invocation and demonstration of our native heritage legacy right at that spot. We move alongside the main street, where it would be the second one would be at Panam, just about Church's Chicken, just before the Four Roads, and we turn into the street alongside the airport and make the trek across, and then there's another step before we reach the actual village, Emancipation Village. So we'll be doing another libation there. When we get in there is several things that happens during that space while we do the around the village tour with different dances, drumming. We want to do out of the drum, conception to the finish. We'll also be having dances, drumming, dirt oven bread, food, entertainment, family time. It's all about the combination. People who would have missed opportunities to see things live will have a chance to see some of those very key moments of presentations that would have been happening over the last 2 weeks. Sorry.
And of course, for those persons that are wanted to come out, I mean, you encourage them to dress up.
To join in the parade. Get up, doll up, come up, Africanize yourself, come out and let's make the trek. Join us in the walk to freedom. Let us, as we walk away from poverty and despair and other social ills and disorder, we move into with the emancipative spirit, like you say, resilient, proud, expressive, bold people, proud to be who we are as we contribute to this great place we call Tobago.
And you know, I mean, what's some of the reactions that you've been getting from people as we go through the Tobago Heritage Festival? We're almost at the end. And how are people receiving it?
They have been receiving it extremely well. I have been to most places and the comments have been great. I mean, even maybe it's just the fact that we didn't have it, I think that there's a great appreciation. Even sometimes to me, it feels new. And I keep going, and we keep going, and everybody keep doing it. I see the same people in the same places tonight, tomorrow morning, tomorrow evening, and people just getting out there. I see people preparing tonight for the college. So people, and what it has done, it brought a revival to a lot of people, because there's now people getting more involved in drawing and stenciling stuff and creating screen board and building props and sewing clothes and costumes. The cloth store is full. You have to wait outside to get materials and thread, and people fixing machine and painting stuff. So there's a lovely churning of the economy, and that only augurs well for where we hope to go and really place Tobago back in its rightful place, where we can feed ourselves truly as we continue to create, innovate, and sustain those things that are important to us all.
So you would say that it's been a success?
It has been successful by every standard, and it's supported by the fact that there's this relief in not having to find money, because your culture is really valuable. And I always say festivals are more, to me, generated for the people, so that you create opportunities for cohesion in the community, so economic growth, for social development, and those things are important. The pastimes, because we may not see it returning profits like look at here, but you can see certainly people getting an opportunity, want to be exposed to benefit from their art, their craft, and their skills, and that is important to all of the world, but more important to me, to Tobago, to be able to climb the ladder of success economically, socially, spiritually, intellectually, and otherwise.
And then from the displays that we've been seeing, and especially the youth involvement, because I think that's one thing that's been standing out to me every day, every night, is that youth involvement and just all the talent that is there and that's now coming out. Now, are we thinking along the lines of having that more incorporated into a yearly plan, some things that happen throughout the year, so that young people, they don't just have to wait for the Tobago Heritage Festival to show what they're made of?
Well, certainly, at the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, that's what we do. We try our best to ensure that we provide opportunities for the youth through our training program. TPAC is one of those places now that has been absorbing a lot of the things that would have been lagging, and hopefully as we go forward into our new fiscal, there are several things that we will certainly put on the table, and I'm sure we'll get the support as we usually do from the administrator and the secretary and all of the THA, because we are about development, progress, and taking it to that place that I consider glorious and beneficial. But there's no use if it's not glorious, if it's not appreciated, and if it's not beneficial.
So can you safely say that the Tobago Heritage Festival is sort of pushing forth that the development of that orange economy?
Certainly is the bedrock for that. It is a platform for that. It is the place for the expression of our latent and budding talent and the desirables, even for people who are not sure what they want to be. Because here we are at the place where people can decide, where do I go from here? What am I good at? What have I learned? Or what can I learn? And how I can use that for sustainable development. And again, that too is important, that you can use your talents to create, make magic, but more importantly, make money.
Of course. Money is incredibly important, especially in these times.
Yes, and in these days, because we are very tourism-oriented and tourism-driven. And that's why we try the division to steer our things so that the people benefit, so that if it's not found in the school, we place it amongst the youths, we place it in the police clubs, in the community groups, in the villages. And we are seeing that Pembroke does that, Lekito does that, and the Mariah wedding does that. Everywhere does that when you embrace them. And so before having a big Miss Heritage, you have a junior Miss Heritage, you now have a little Miss Heritage, and you are teaching them coordination, beauty with purpose, how to create stuff, and out of that comes the world of designers, innovators, and contributors to our economy, and that's very important. That's what we aim for. Culture is important, and culture does that with training, and we are certainly pushing for that at the division.
And certainly something to look forward to.
Certainly.
And then I think there's a spark that's also happening and a greater anticipation as to what is to come next year, because we know that the Tobago Heritage Festival is going to be bigger next year.
We tested the envelope, and I'm glad to see up today that we have not been alarmed or by any other reason to cause us not to practice. So people have been doing what they're doing. Tobago is up and about, and culture is alive and well in Tobago, Candice.
All right, great. So viewers, don't forget there are still some more events. There's the Calypso Mona competition tonight. There's the Mariah Old Time Wedding tomorrow. And then on Monday, on Emancipation Day, if you don't go to any one of them, come out to Crown Point.
Yes, it's the awakening, the celebration of life. We encourage all of you to come join in the celebration. Live, love, and laugh.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much, Jesse, for being with us. And he's going to be with us again.
Yes, for the post-analysis.
for the post-analysis. So don't worry, you'll be hearing more from him as we just continue to evaluate and follow up on what's been happening with the Tobago Heritage Festival. But we're not done yet with the show. We have a lot more coming up after the break, so don't go anywhere.
The Street 919 FM and the Tobago Updates presents the Tobago Updates Morning Show live simulcast on the Street 919 FM. Start your day with all the information you want and need with the simulcast of the Tobago Updates Morning Show live Mondays to Fridays from 7 a.m. on the Street 919 FM, the official station that defends the nation. Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
We are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning
morning, Tobago on Tobago Updates. And of course, I am here with the lovely, the beautiful, the very coordinated, unlike myself, Miss Amika Louie. And of course, she is one of our talented dance instructors in Tobago. But we're not here to talk about dance. We're here to talk about, and I don't know if I can get the accent right for Yard Food, Ital Kitchen, right? So good morning and welcome to you, Miss Louie. How are you doing?
Good morning, Candace. I am wonderful and I'm happy to be here. So it's the Yard Food Ital Kitchen. On Instagram, it's Yard Food TT. It's my love for Jamaican and Tobagonian food just coming together, but also wanting to cut the redundancy you get when you're looking for food options in Tobago and bringing back health, but in a local way to the island.
All right, so you're saying that, you know, it's different, right? So what kind of different, what can we expect?
So it's not that different. So I actually describe it as getting the blend of your grandmother's favorite stew on a Sunday mixed with your auntie from Jamaica coming in and bringing her special dish. So it's all the foods and the stews that you already know, but we're just doing it in a healthier manner. So you're going to get a coconut stew fish, you're going to get a stew conch, you're going to get a curry chana with a dal and a rice, but we're going to be using basmati rice, not white rice. So it's just offering you healthier options for the things that you already know. So I call it Creole comfort food.
That sounds really good just about now. So where is this located?
So we're located at Jandimore Road, Canby. A lot of people aren't familiar with the name of Jandimore Road. However, if you are passing into Canby, past Penny Savers, like you're going to pass Daniel Trace, you're going to continue right after Belfont's Hardware. We're on the right-hand side. Look for the very bright orange and green shop up on the right-hand side.
So you are going to have options for various types of diets, and this Presbyterian, vegan, vegetarian. Of course, there are differences to people's diets and so on, but you're catering to all of this.
Yeah. Presbyterians are welcome, but also pescatarians, just hearing that difference in terms of they're all forms of vegetarians, but we're starting at fish, no chicken, no meat, no beef. We're going to have fish and some shell food, as well, seafood, shell food, as well as vegetarian options and vegan. Vegan is not going to be so regularly on our side because we're still going to be using a little bit of dairy just to make sure, like for our porridges, they're a little thick and they're a little like getting that comfort food flavor. But Yard Food in itself, before our side of the kitchen is launched, is a multi-business space. So we also have the Sir Fresco Deli Ital shop that operates on the other days. So that is a more unprocessed and a more cleaner way of eating. So that's when you're going to get your vegan options. That's when you're going to get your lack of dairy, your gluten-free, your dairy-free. And she also taught me something else. I think it's alkaline food. So you're going to get...
And that's certainly one of
low
those
glycemic
new
food.
upcoming diets, and we're finding out the properties that it is and what it does for the body at this point in time.
But you see, and the conversation is this. None of these things are new. Because my effort with Yard Food is kind of reminding us how our ancestors used to, how we should be eating, because we should be eating from the land that we have. So imagine, instead of eating bread in the morning, you get up and you eat a piece of pong cassava, or you eat a piece of pong plantain, because that's what your land is giving you. And I think it gives us a better chance to regain our health in a way that it isn't so expensive. So eat from your pocket, eat from your land. You don't have to hold your head when they say wheat going up.
Yes.
Yeah?
So... Well, from what, if I'm understanding you correctly, that means that, you know, this food would be available at an affordable option.
That's
because
correct.
I think that's one of the challenges that we have here in this space, is that we know that we should be eating healthy, but it's not affordable. It's not easily accessible to the wider public.
So I want to pull out my luck sometimes when people say that, because it makes sense because we are now being reintroduced to veganism and vegetarianism through social media. So the idea we have is a wrap, a salad, you had to go and do, what is called food planning, where you had to boil a piece of chicken, and we don't need to do that. Go in the nice market, go and buy your dry peas, soak them. You don't even have to use canned peas, and it's more affordable. That's like $9 versus $16 in a can. So go to the market and see what is there and eat from there. So eat the things that you've seen growing naturally.
And then tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind this. Like, why did you choose to go in this direction and then bring together two cultures, that of Jamaican, because of course that is part of your roots, and Tobago?
So I come from a large family on both sides. Both of my grandmothers were heavily into cooking. My grandmother from Lansome, Saclio, she was the blue food lady. She was one of the first restaurants you got to right at the top of Bloody Bay when you came down. And my grandmother on the other side, Phyllis Louis, she cooked how she wanted. So if you came into the house on a Sunday, you would find some of the strangest things. So like a black bean with rice, and then she would say it have okra in there, it have fish in there. And it's just because she's cooking based on taste or what she feels and what she has in her cupboard, because she's feeding 13 children. So it's pulling that back. And then I would have gone to Jamaica for 5 years when I went into school. And one of the things I fell in love with, besides the culture of the people, was the food. There is and I'm not talking about just jerk chicken. I'm not talking about just rice and peas. I'm talking about experiencing things like conch sauce, experiencing things like roast breadfruit outside on a fire. You go on the beach and you get roast fish.
Yeah.
And they do a fish where it's brown stew fish, but they stuff it with okra, carrots, and bhaji. And ooh, hello, I'm hungry again. But
I know you're making me hungry right now.
So it's my effort to share that love and that love I found for food with us, but also just remind you that the things that we have naturally are just as enjoyable as some of the more exciting things we get from outside.
And tell me a bit about the experience of getting this set up here in Tobago.
So thank God that my grandparents and so had foresight so that they would have invested in certain pieces of property, etc. So Cecil Louis is my grandfather. So we would have inherited the property Jandimo, which was once his hotel. So my father, again, having some foresight, would have put that structure there. And I'm glad that it's not a concrete structure, because it gives the feeling of a cook shop and it gives the feeling of a yard. So I want people to come into the yard. So I would have seen it and I said, Dad, what are you going to do with this? I want to do this thing. And there's something that I want to introduce, and it will always be in the space called the George policy, because my dad's name is George, where no matter what amount of money you have, you're going to get the amount of food, because we don't want to turn away anybody.
That's great.
So it's just doing what you can with what you have where you are. Yeah.
Right, and I think a lot of people are going to come on board, because sometimes, you know, you want to push some food, but you may not have all of it. It's tough times. I mean, a lot of people are still very much struggling through the pandemic. So, I mean, congratulations, of course, to you for taking this step and to making these options available to the public. And so what are your opening hours like?
So the opening hours, and we're going to be launching from this Saturday, breakfast starts at 7 a.m. and lunch will start at 12 noon. I want to talk about the menu a little bit if I can.
Yes, sure,
of course, it's going to be a blend of Jamaican and Tobagonian, but my two favorite items that I'm looking forward to is actually plantain porridge and saltfish fritters. So saltfish fritters are just sort of like Accra, but they flavor it just a little bit differently, and they're like a flat thing that you could eat for breakfast itself. So we could serve that with fresh salad. We're going to have fried plantain. We're going to have fried bake. And for those who are vegan, you're going to have curry pumpkin. You're going to have curry booty. And you could have that with oats and flax bread.
Okay, great. That sounds wonderful. So from what time in the morning?
7 a.m. is breakfast. 12 noon is lunch.
And what are your closing hours? So
right, because we have to go home after that.
Yes,
so we're going to close at 4 p.m. Closing at 4 p.m.
Closing at 4 p.m. So viewers, if you want to, have a different style of food, some yard food.
Yes. Come in the yard.
Come in the yard. And are there seating areas and so on?
So we're actually in the process of getting seating done, and just falling in line with the theme of the space and wanting to keep it very homely. I have very ambitiously wanted to get pallet furniture made, and thank God Leah Bloom actually helps me get this together. So I should have my little picnic benches made out of pallets. Coming soon. And we have the deck area. I'm so excited for people to be able to sit on that deck area and enjoy the view and the breeze that is Canby.
Okay, great. Now, we're going to move away from that conversation a little bit, but we're also going to talk about dance fitness, because, of course, you are a dance fitness instructor, and I just want to get into, how have things been going with you with the opening of your studio about a couple months ago up at Dodge Fort. How are things progressing with us concerned?
So, to be honest, it's always going to be sort of like an uphill climb. Dance Fitness Tobago has been going well. I have a band of ladies who keep me going. I always say that I didn't start this for myself. I started this to give women an escape. and to give women a little bit back to themselves. So they have been teaching me that over and over again, the importance of what I do. Looking to expand classes, I actually would love to get another instructor inside to train. And coming up to this carnival season, I want to do a soca series. So if I do have the time surviving what is going on with yard food and what's going on in my studio, you will see me on some stage in some carnival costume or piece of a carnival costume, telling you to wind low and just encouraging you to love yourself and to take care of your body.
Yeah, so she tried to do that to me.
She did well. She did so well. You did.
Yeah, so, I mean, do you have any special events coming up?
Not just yet on the calendar particularly, but as I mentioned, I would love to do a soca series for Carnival. So if you are watching this and you are a fitness instructor or a dance instructor, you could reach out to me for any collaboration. Carnival is this season. It's a season to get your body moving, but it's not just body. I kind of want to just remind people. The same thing with my studio, Ile Dingale, Dance Fitness Tobago, and Yard Food. I just want to give people back to themselves, if that makes sense to you.
Yes.
I also didn't get to talk about, in part of Yard Food, we want to do a heritage style Saturdays where we're going to have outdoor cooking, where I'm going to ask my uncles from Lansome to come down and do things like yaba. I'm going to ask some of the Jamaicans that we've become friends with to come out and do roast fish, roast bread food outside on stone fire. So you're going to have that, and of course it's going to be available for sale, but you're also getting ingrained and engrossed in the process of cooking these things.
All right.
I have no idea.
Okay, and I guess the kitchen, like, what's it going to be like?
So the ITEL kitchen, it is, and I just want to, the business itself is a multi-business space. So it's one kitchen, it's the cook shop, and the two businesses operate outside of it. So officially, all ITEL kitchen is going to be launched this Saturday, 30th of July. Again, breakfast is starting at 7 a.m. and lunch starts at 12.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much, Amika.
Thank you.
And for people who just want to get in contact with you, and would you be taking orders and that sort of thing?
Not just yet. I want to arrange a phone, particularly for this space, because my phone is already so busy. So I would put a phone in place. But for now, you could contact us on Instagram at yard_food_TT.
All right, great. So there you have it, folks. Some great new food options being introduced into the Tobago space. It's going to be a wonderful blend of Tobago and Jamaican food. And I am certainly looking forward for it. It's close to where I live, so
awesome.
You might be seeing me quite often there.
Awesome.
And especially, I love the idea of the fact that, you come with what you have, and you get accordingly to the money that you have. So it would allow you to be able to afford the food, even if you don't have the hundreds of dollars in your back pocket.
No, but it's never going to reach hundreds of dollars unless you're coming with like a family of 20. Unless you're coming with a family of 20. But yeah, it's just making good things accessible to people.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much,
thank you,
Miss Amika Louis, for joining us. It's such a pleasure, always to have you on with us and to speak with us. And as we're getting ready to go off into Emancipation Day weekend as well, I don't know if you want to leave with any sort of message to the people of Tobago or any sort of Emancipation Day greeting.
I think the perfect message is always Sankofa, and it falls in line with my participation in the Miss World Heritage, the Miss World pageant that recently closed. Sankofa is the West African symbol that reminds you, in order to go forward, you have to remember what is in your past. So Heritage reminds us of that every year, that we have to have firm footing in our foundation in order to have a brighter future.
All right, great. Thank you again. And viewers, that's just all that we have for you today. But Tobago Updates has got you covered for the whole entire weekend when it comes to the rest of the Tobago Heritage Festival. So we are going to be bringing to you the live coverage of the Calypso Monarch tonight at 8 p.m. The Mariah Old Time Wedding as well tomorrow. So I guess we're going to be bringing you live coverage of that. But of course, if you want to go up, certainly take the truck up there, join the procession. It's always a wonderful, fun time to join in the dances and so on. And then on Monday for the Emancipation Day celebrations, we will be there as well. So you may not have the morning show, but you still have Tobago Updates covering you for all of these events. And then we will see you again on Tuesday for the Tobago Updates morning show and Good Morning Tobago. So I want to thank you again for viewing and for sticking out with us. Have a wonderful, safe and productive weekend. Happy Emancipation Day, and we'll see you again next week.
passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong.